If you buy a DVD, or if you are old enough to remember buying one and you read the copyright warning at the beginning, there is a line most people skip right past. It says the disc is licensed for private home use only, and that unauthorized public performance is prohibited in a list of locations. One of those locations, right there in the legal text, is oil rigs. Oil rigs are specifically named in the copyright warning on DVD discs. That shows how common it was for offshore platforms to screen movies for crews and how seriously the entertainment industry treated licensing. Before satellite internet, companies would fly in stacks of new DVD discs on every crew change helicopter, because there was no other way to get fresh entertainment to 200 people trapped on a steel platform in the middle of the ocean. That is the kind of detail that tells you more about rig life than any recruitment video ever will. And it is just the beginning. Here is what the daily routine on an offshore oil rig actually looks like, including the parts nobody ever talks about. Your day starts with a knock on the door, not an alarm clock. An actual person, a steward, physically knocking. Every cabin door on the rig has a sign hanging on it. Either 5 a.m. wake up or 5 p.m. wake up, depending on whether you are on the day shift or the night shift. The steward walks the hallway and knocks on each one at the assigned time. It is one of the only jobs left on Earth where another human being is your alarm. You roll out of a bunk in a room you share with 1 to 3 other people. Your dirty work clothes from yesterday's shift are gone. They were picked up by the laundry service. On most modern rigs, stewards clean your cabin, make your bed, change your sheets on a regular schedule, and do your laundry every single day. You do not cook. You do not clean. You do not do your own washing. In that sense, an oil rig is closer to living in a hotel than an apartment, except your hotel room is the size of a closet, your neighbors work with explosives, and the building occasionally moves. You shower, put on clean coveralls, and head to the cafeteria. Every meal on the rig has to serve as breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the same time, because someone is always starting their day, someone is in the middle of it, and someone is finishing. The kitchen runs on a 6-hour rotation, and the food is free, unlimited, and usually very good. On many Gulf of Mexico rigs, there are themed nights. Taco Tuesday, Barbecue Wednesday, Seafood Friday, Soul Food Sunday. Workers eat 5 or 6 times a day if they want. Ice cream is available at all hours. When your only real pleasure for 2 weeks is the cafeteria, you eat a lot. Weight gain is one of the most common health issues for offshore workers, and studies consistently show higher rates of obesity compared to the general population. After eating, you head to the pre-shift safety meeting. This is not optional. It happens every single day, every single shift without exception. The toolbox talk covers the day's tasks, identifies hazards, reviews procedures, and sometimes includes a safety moment, a brief story, or lesson about an incident somewhere in the industry. On some rigs, any worker can stop the entire operation if they believe something is unsafe. That authority extends from the rig manager all the way down to the newest roustabout. This is a relatively recent cultural shift. Veterans of the industry remember when the culture on rigs was built around machismo. The toughest, most aggressive workers were promoted. Asking for help was seen as weakness. Admitting you didn't know something could get you ridiculed. One longtime manager described the old days as a pack of lions, where the guy in charge was whoever could outperform and out-intimidate everyone else. That culture killed people. In the mid-1990s, major operators began rewriting safety programs to prioritize collective responsibility over individual toughness. Workers who behaved too aggressively stopped getting promoted. The industry didn't just change its rules, it changed its personality. Now, the weird stuff. You cannot carry a lighter on an oil rig. Carrying one is grounds for immediate termination. No warnings, no second chances. The reason is straightforward. Rigs handle volatile hydrocarbons, and if there is a gas leak, a lighter could cause an explosion. But smoking is not banned entirely. There are designated smoking areas positioned far from sensitive equipment, and the only source of ignition allowed is safety matches. The matches are provided by the company. That means there can be a room on a platform surrounded by millions of barrels of flammable material where people are allowed to light a match, but only in that one specific spot using that company-issued match. Cell phones are banned outside the living quarters. The reason is the same. Electronic devices can theoretically generate a spark, and in an environment where gas leaks are a real possibility, that is not a risk anyone is willing to take. Inside the accommodation block, you can use your phone. Outside, on the deck, near the drill floor, anywhere near operational equipment, it stays in your pocket or your cabin. This rule creates a strange disconnect. Workers can video call their families from their bunk, but the moment they step through the door to the working deck, they are unreachable. The rig has its own superstitions, and workers take them seriously. On some platforms, cherry pie is banned. On others, it is chicken bones. Nobody can fully explain why, but the belief is that certain foods bring bad luck. Across the American drilling industry, many drillers will not put a drill bit into the ground without spitting on it first. Talking about plans after your shift, or saying that a day seems easy, is considered a guarantee that the shift will go sideways. And nobody ever discusses a previous explosion or disaster while on the rig. The belief is that talking about past incidents invites them to happen again. Whether or not anyone actually believes the superstition does not matter. The ritual is the point. When your job involves working with pressurized equipment and flammable gas 100 miles from shore, people reach for whatever gives them a sense of control. We cover stories about working conditions like this regularly. If that is your thing, subscribe. The social dynamics on a rig are unlike any other workplace. You live with your coworkers. You eat every meal with them. You sleep 10 feet from them. And because the rig operates 24 hours a day, the people around you are on opposite schedules. Your roommate works nights while you work days. You might go an entire 2-week hitch sharing a cabin with someone and barely see them awake. The hallways are permanently quiet on one side and active on the other at all hours because someone is always sleeping. Nicknames are universal. On one rig in the Gulf of Mexico, a new worker spent his off hours sunbathing on the helipad. He got badly burned. His crew name from that point forward was Lobster. On rigs everywhere, people go by their last name, a physical trait, or whatever the crew decided was funny on day one. Veteran workers say the moment you earn a nickname is the moment you have been accepted. Before that, you are just the new guy. The rig is also its own ecosystem, literally. Offshore platforms attract marine life. The massive steel structures act as artificial reefs, drawing fish, barnacles, and sometimes larger creatures. Workers on Gulf of Mexico rigs fish off the side during their downtime, pulling up tuna, barracuda, and mahi-mahi from 90 feet above the water. Migrating birds use platforms as rest stops. Workers have reported flocks of hummingbirds and purple martins landing on the rig, so exhausted from their journey over open ocean that they fall into a deep sleep right there on the deck. One rig paramedic described being able to stroke the birds' feathers without them waking up. And then there's the hardest part of rig life, which isn't any single moment on the platform. It's the transition home. Workers describe a re-entry period that can take days. After 2 to 4 weeks of 12-hour shifts, structured meals, shared quarters, and constant industrial noise, coming home to silence feels wrong. One field engineer described how his speech patterns change on the rig. More cursing, rougher cadence, a kind of mode he falls into around the crew. His wife told him it usually takes 2 or 3 days for him to switch back. Other workers report difficulty sleeping in a quiet room after weeks of falling asleep to the hum of generators and pumps. Some say the first few days home feel lonelier than the rig, because at least on the platform, you are surrounded by people who understand the routine. At home, nobody really gets what you just spent 2 weeks doing. The rig runs on sameness. Same wake-up time, same knock on the door, same safety meeting, same cafeteria, same 12 hours of work, same faces. Every day, for the entire rotation, the structure is identical. And that sameness, which sounds numbing from the outside, is actually what holds the whole thing together. When you work with heavy machinery, flammable gases, and deep water on all sides, predictability is not boring. It is the thing that keeps people alive. Then the helicopter comes, and you fly back to a world where nothing runs on a schedule. Nobody knocks on your door at 5 in the morning, and you have to do your own laundry again. Most workers say that is the weirdest adjustment of all.